It's not always your throw that costs you the game. It's what's going on up here. That's right, in your head. I'm going to talk about the 3 mental mistakes that cornhole players make before it's too late, and then what we could do about those. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Michelle Thompson, aka Cornhole Mish. I am a cornhole commentator, sideline reporter, and I've been helping people get out of their heads and into their bodies for peak performance for over 15 years. The first mistake that I see is overthinking mechanics mid match. If you are already in the game, I'm not talking about practice games in your backyard. I'm talking about you're in a tournament, you're competing. It is too late to start to break down your mechanics. If you are missing left or right, short, long, something like that, we want to take that time to do a reset so that we know we're in the right state before we start attacking our mechanics. And that's for 2 reasons. One, because if we go into our analytical thinking part of our brain, that's the state in which we learned how to play cornhole. We will not perform our best. The learning state is meant to be a short-term time when you're learning mechanics, and we do not want to initiate that state in the middle of a tournament or a game. And the other reason is because we don't even know if that's truly what it is. But once we automatically start attacking our mechanics, our brain takes over and our body is basically taken out of the equation. And we don't know if that's actually where things went wrong, but we don't give the ability for it to be anything else. So we're going to kind of change the order of operations in terms of how we deal with mistakes or just misses mid-match. And the first thing we want to do is notice our state. So how are we feeling? What's our heart rate at? What's our body tension or looseness at? Where's our thoughts and emotions? So just taking kind of an assessment of the state, where am I at? Before we jump into, did I release high enough? Did I, whatever you go mechanically in your brain. Stop that pattern and first take an assessment of your state. Where am I right now? How am I feeling right now? Not with the miss, but before the miss, right? Where's my head at? Where's my body at? And then once we take an assessment of the state, we practice something that puts us in the state we want to be in. So maybe we can't identify. I don't really know. That's probably because you were in the mindless state if you can't really identify it. But either way, it's time to actually choose the state we want to perform from. And so we choose play or flow state, whichever one we feel like is the better one for where we're at or the type of player we are. And we consciously and intentionally bring ourselves to that state. And then if the mistakes keep happening and we notice a pattern, not just a few bags to the left, especially if they're in the same round. I'm talking about over the course of a tournament. That's when we can, after the tournament, go back to the drawing board and check our mechanics. But during a game or a tournament, we want to really stay into the mental part of the game. What's everything I can do to set myself up for the best success possible? That means I need to be feeling good, thinking good thoughts, feeling present and grounded. Tackle those things. Focus all your energy and attention on bringing your body into the ideal state and keep yourself out of the brain, out of the analytics, and out of the mechanics unless we're at home practicing things, because you can absolutely go into the learning state when you're at home working on drills and mechanics and practice routines. The next mistake that I see from my cornhole players is focusing on the score or the outcome instead of what's happening right here and right now. Now, by the way, this is just so very human of you. How can we not think about what happened before and what could possibly happen in the very near future? It's so difficult to stay right here in the present moment. But the good news is it's possible, it feels better, it works better, and it helps you everywhere in life. So resist the urge to go, oh, I'm only 5 points away. Oh, I just need to get this bag in for the win. I can't believe I missed that shot. Now I'm down 5 points. Stay out of all that craziness. Not only is it happening in the head, which we know is not where peak performance happens. It happens in the body, in the present moment. But it's definitely going to derail your success because you can't possibly be in the play or the flow state if you're not present. Presence is part of the equation. So in order for you to have peak performance and be more consistent with the way that you play, you need to ideally be in a flow or play state, which means you have to be present. Now, the good news is, again, is that it feels good. So like you want to be present, right? You like this. Now, nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to play bad. So I fully understand that when things aren't going your way, it is so difficult to stay present and locked in with exactly what's happening. Who wants to sit here and say, I'm throwing horribly? The bags aren't going in the hole. Of course, you want to go to the past or the future or the mindless, go nowhere. I get it, but this is your practice. It is your practice to stay present even in the uncomfortable moments and know that the more you do that, the better you're going to perform. So even though it sucks, even though you don't want to, just be right here in the present moment, because the truth is, whatever uncomfortable situations that happened, those are actually over. And all you have now is the moment with this bag in your hand, with your feet on the floor in this exact moment where technically nothing has happened yet. You can't predict what's going to happen. You're going to try, but you can't because you don't control that. And so the more you actually stay right here, right now, with this exact moment in front of you, the better you're going to play. And the easier it's going to be to lock into the state that you play best. The third mistake that I see from my cornhole players is the negativity that happens after a miss. Once again, how very human of you. It is something in our culture that says that sort of that tough love or the negativity is motivational or inspiring in some way. We're really taught that if we're kind to ourselves and have compassion and understanding and empathy for ourselves, that things aren't going to go our way, that we need to be harsh. We need to add the pressure. We can't let up. We can't say it's okay. We have to say, do better. You're better than this. And really pour on that negativity. The truth is, it doesn't work long term. Sure, we can be motivated by wanting to avoid pain for a period of time, but eventually we have to switch and actually move towards what we want as opposed to running away from what we don't want. And that is essentially what's happening when we go into negativity. We remind ourselves all the stuff that we don't want. We don't want to fail. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to miss a bag. We don't want to lose. That's all that. And then on top of that, we might have all this sort of limiting language that we were either, inherited, where it's like you suck at this. You're not good at anything. You can't ever finish, or whatever it is that you're telling yourselves. All that negativity is only going to catapult you into the worry state, and that is not a place we want to throw from. So, as much as it might feel counterproductive to actually be kind to yourself, especially if you're a flow state player, someone who's really ultra focused and locked in, we tend not to like to kind of laugh off our mistakes or be kind of loose with, oh, well, it's just a bag, it's just a round. That's really hard for my flow state players, and I get that. And you don't have to do it that way. You can do it in a way that makes sense to you. And so instead of being maybe the loose kind of like, I laugh at my mistakes, you don't have to do that if that doesn't resonate. What you can do is, I got this. I'm locked in. Like, just double down on the intensity of how good you know you can be. Think about your ceiling. Think about your best game. Think about what you're capable of. And stay focused on that and have whatever just happened have nothing to do with your ability to perform. Like, that moment doesn't matter because you've had all these other moments in which you've been really, really good. And you know that, and you lock into those moments. And so we don't focus on the miss and we don't allow the negative self talk to take over. We stay positive. I'm good at this. I know I can do this. I can handle anything. That mistake doesn't even matter. That's nothing to me. And in the beginning, it might feel like you're kind of lying to yourself. And so we do need to kind of check ourselves with the state that puts us in, because if saying those things makes us feel like a liar and we're creating more self-doubt, then we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what we can say and do that actually fires us up and gets us more into the game, more locked in, more focused. But use that adversity to fuel you to know you can play better. Avoid the negativity, avoid the choking, the, oh, my partner had to carry me because I sucked. Avoid all that, as alluring as it may be, and become your biggest cheerleader, either in a very compassionate, empathetic, it's okay, you got this, laugh it off kind of way for my play state people, or in an intense, focused, I got this, I'm good at this, I can handle anything kind of way, whichever one feels right to you. If this video resonated with you, please hit subscribe for the more content that's coming at you. And I want to know in the comments, what's one of the mental mistakes that you make from what we talked about? Are you an overthinker? Are you doing the mechanics thing? Are you focusing on the score? Are you doing that negative self-talk? Tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear about it. And of course, you can always grab the $9 mental reset kit to help you with all the things we talked about today.